So, hi everybody and welcome back to the Unreal Engine 5 full game tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video number 3, and in this video I want to update you what happened so far in this game development. And I want to start with the topic of project participation. Probably you know I offered for everybody who are interested in this project to participate, so here in YouTube, but as well on Unreal Engine Slackers. It is a unofficial website for Unreal Engine developers, and also on another website that was IndieDB. So I only posted on 3 websites for this purpose, but still that was enough that some people offered to participate. And now I want to share in the next step my experience and my experience, what happens, and how I organize this a little bit more in detail. So first of all, let's start here. Which people I met? I met so far, I think, around 3 or 5 people. And from this 3 or 5 people, only 2 left. The first people which I met was good, but when he heard my plans for contract payment and ownership planning, then he never responded to my PMs in Discord. So you see, I offered a bad contract payment and ownership offer to him, so I think he gets shocked. That was a bad example, but I will explain this here in more detail. And then there was, I think, one more experienced level designer. He responded as well. We had a meeting, we had a talk. The problem with him is I said I will program something and later we will try to meet again. And when I tried to PM during the week to him, I think I was blocked. So I don't know what happens there. Again, if I'm blocked, I am probably he was blocking me probably, I thought. So I have no clue. Again, no communication, and probably there went something wrong as well. Okay, but on this side I have even no clue what went well. What went wrong, not well. And the next thing is, then there is another person, and this is a special case. He is a minor. He is just 16 years old. He said he's a starter. He is one of these YouTube visitors here on YouTube. He followed some of my YouTube videos and he followed some of this programming parts, which is interesting. He used in his own project, and he is even releasing a full game on Steam, and I was astonished because he said he's starter, and I was really surprised. For with 16 years finished a project and releasing on stream. And here I make a little promoting him because he said me I'm allowed to give him credits or show it here on the stream, and I won't show him. And this is this person. This is the 16 years old person who created this game here on Steam. You can see it will be soon available. It's right now not out. And the interesting part is he created a horror game. You can see it here. And you can visit this site. I will link this in the description. But again, interesting for my side. He said at start he's a beginner. Has no experience like me, because I offered this project as a team development experiment, so I want to learn team development. And yeah, I was really surprised by this person, and he is still on the project. But there is another problem with this person. Like I said, he is not 18 plus, and the law in game development is so if a person is not 18, he has not the rights to assign a contract. And there are ways to assign, of course, contracts with people under 18, but there are so many laws, so many regulation laws, and so many different laws in different countries that this is a problem. So that was a problem. We talked about it, and I said to him, I can give you only a no contract participation, which means he participates on his own will, which means he has no responsibility. He can do whatever he wants. He's not even responsible if something goes wrong, because people under 18 are special covered by the law. That's very good, and that's very bad for me actually, or for companies normally, because we have to think a little bit more if we go the risk, because let's say he can be exploited, right, by other third parties, so I don't know. And yeah, this is then this risk I have to go or not. I can decide. I said I go because we are anyway learning, and he is anyway interested in our portfolio. He's interested in experience, and I said, you can participate if you are interested. I have no problem, but it must be on your own decision and no restriction for you. And yeah, that was the 16-year-old. So that was his game. Still impressed by him. With 16, he already created this game, what you can see here. Absolute astonishing. And then we have one more person now here in the team. He is a student, a university student. He is programming. I think he is a computer science student, and he is also interested in game development. And he also said he is interested in knowledge. In experience. So he needs experience in team development, because he also did many things on his own. And he's interested also in, of course, portfolio, because he said, I want to show that what I created in my portfolio, and to later to apply on other companies with this information. So you see the two persons which are still in my group are mainly here because they need experience. They have no experience in group development. I'm here as well for group development, by the way. And they are interested in creating portfolios, which means they can show products, and they are really interested in that this game is also released, because if this game is released, it's a serious product. They can profile themselves higher than other people who have, for example, nothing like that. So this is the reason why they are here. But let's talk about my bad experience with the other guys. Like I said, there are two people who have not responded at all. One responded at all, and the one guy, which I said at the start, who was good, there I made a mistake from my side. The mistake was, at the start, I have not pointed out very critical things like, do we need a contract? What is the payment? And what is the ownership? This comes later, and he get a shock, right? And later I learned, for example, the new persons, the other people here right now, I said, okay, will say straight from the beginning, there is no payment. The contract, there will be a game contract, doesn't matter what we do, even if we are amateurs, which means even if we are here for learning, we are serious, which means we make a game contract. And ownership, that's a very critical information here. I get full ownership of all what is used here in this project. And this is something which is also very critical with payment. So why is ownership so critical? Because the people here who are participating in this project will make a contract where they give me full ownership. For example, with the 60 years old, I have to make a special contract, because that's a little bit more special. I don't know even how this works in the end, I have to see. But with the other student, for example, it's easier. There is just a normal game contract because he's allowed to make game contracts. He's over 18, and in the game contract it will be pointed out what's all the critical informations, also ownership, and that he has to give the ownership, the full ownership. In this case, it's not a license. There is a distinguish about licensing and ownership. Here I mean really full ownership, which means when he creates something for this project, I get full ownership, and when he want to publish that thing what he has created anywhere else, he has to ask me. That sounds a little bit strange, right? He created this one, and now he has asked to me to do something with this one. But this is a very important requirement, and the reason for that is in general so that I have no problems later to publish this one in other sites, in other places, and all these other things. Because, for example, if I publish this game on Steam or Google Play or Amazon Play or whatever store, they ask me first of all, or they assume that I have full ownership of all these products what I made. If I don't have any ownership, I can get in trouble. That's so the general rule in in the industry, and if you are trying to apply anything anywhere. So the point is, it is easier just to have the ownership instead of asking all time, oh, I have only an ownership for this part, I have not an ownership for the other part. Then if I have not an ownership for the other part, then I have to prove, for example, Google Play or Steam, that still I have the owner, that still I'm allowed to use it. And then I have to prove them if anything changed, that I have to contact the owner, get the allowance of the owner to change the thing in the product, and all this kind. You see, there is a lot of additional work involved if you have not an ownership. And in professional workflow, we are not professionals, but in professional or in general, let's say in general workspace, every company, every work, you will assign at the start a contract. And in this contract at the start, you will see they say we get full ownership most time, or license agreements. There's also this license agreement, but like I said, license agreement, I read this a little bit through, has a little bit more problems, because license means still you have to sometimes follow. If there is something, for example, you change in your code anything with this product which you have licensed, then you have normally contact again the person who has owns this license, and then ask again for this change. And this is additional work. It makes much more complicated, but there are many things which you can only get a license. For example, Unreal Engine 5 free assets, we will use the free license of Epic, right? Which means they stated out it is free usable, but in this case I have not full ownership, because this product still belongs Epic. They say in the license agreement I can use it in commercial use, I can use whatever I want, but only as long as I use it within Unreal Engine 5 projects and special agreements in this licensing. So you can see this is also not ideal, because I think Epic will there not do so much, because most time Epic supports that we are creating a project, but still on the legal side it belongs Epic, not us, this free assets, if we are using any free assets. Okay, you see, this becomes a problem but and to avoid the big problems, I need just the ownership, and some people don't like this, I see. All right, the next big problem would be here. Let's see, that is payment. Interesting topic, payment. I thought at start anyway this is not a paid project for participants. And what I mean with that is I offered this post as a team development try, because I want test team development, because like I said in my post, I already developed a game, but only on my own, which means I created all parts on my own, and that takes a lot of time. And I'm anyway a programmer, which means I use anyway many free assets when I'm creating on my own. But still, I have to create on many things, have to integrate this, and takes a lot of time. That's why I'm making this team development. And then this payment comes up. And we talked about payment with two of them, the other two not, because then I stated at the start directly no payment, but the other two I stated it not at the start. The one guy, the first guy, like I said, after I talked about the contract payment and ownership, he never PM back in Discord. So I tried asking him 3 days and still not asking after 3 days. Then I interpret this as, yeah, he is probably anyhow angry. Okay, let's cancel this project together. So he was cancelled, and the other guy, that was actually the 60 years old person, he was first interested in payment as well. But with him, also I said in the contract, I also talked with him, there is a payment system which I wanted to implement. And actually the ownership, the same, full ownership payment. He said, we discussed this a little bit, he thought about a little bit one day, and he agreed. But about the payment, I want to talk here about a payment system which I wanted to use. And the payment system which I want to use sounds at start very unfair. And what I mean with that is, for example, I said, okay, I will probably give for example, a 3D artist around 8%, right? 8% or something like that. I'm not sure. I have to look the details. And then let's think you are a 3D artist and think, wait a minute, I get only for my work 8%. That's nothing, right? That's nothing. And this is this is probably right from his perspective, but let me show you this one here in this Wikipedia site, video game development. And what I did actually is I just split the work what we have to do in this project in all the roles, and then I said this role has this percentage on work. So that was not really a payment percentage, that was more a work percentage what I give. And then I said I convert this payment, this work percentage to payment. Let me show what I mean with that. So in video game development, and by the way, I try to use the guideline from general Wikipedia sites, or general guidelines how to use what is used in video game development. And when we go here a little bit down, you can see there are roles, right? And let's count. There is something like a producer role, a publisher role. We can skip here, for example. We will not use all to make it not too complicated. I will just get you the idea what I make. So let's say here is publisher is marketing. Let's take the publisher. Let's skip the producer. He is very important too, but let's skip this one here, that it's not too complicated. So we have one. Then we have here development team. This is the team which is directly developing the project. The publisher is more, let's say, for marketing. And then we have here, let's go here for this artist first. Then we have two. We have a person for artist. We have a person for programming. That's a 3. And we have a person for level designing. That is a 4. And then we have a person for sound engineering. That's a 5. And then we have a person for tester. This are 6. And the bad thing comes now. All this part has also subparts. What I mean with subparts is, for example, this artist is just a high level view. There are different kind of artists. For example, what we have here, we have an artist who is creating the level creation, right? Map creation artist. Then we have an artist who is creating the 3D artist. But let's skip this subdivides. But we have just to think about it. There is more subdivides. But again, we make it very simple just to understand my example here. Okay, we have here the publisher. This is marketing. 1, let's say 2 artists, 3 programmer, 4 level designer, 5 sound engineer, and 6 tester. So we have 6 categories. And when I have a work, let me go here, calculator, calculator, let me go here. And let's say we have 100%, 100 represents here 100% work, right? And let's divide this 100% work now with 6. So all the categories which I showed you without the subcategories have 60%, represent 60% work, right? Let's go back here, which means I divide the work here in 60%. So let's say here's the artist, right? And like I said, I told him he's around 8, but I just said, okay, one person must create the level. He would get 8, perhaps the map creation, and one create, for example, the 3D asset, that would be him. Then he would also create around 8%. And you can see that would go even more down when we cover other works in our project. For example, one of these artists must probably create cinematics, perhaps, or that means more, or sprites for the icons. That would even go more down. But my thing here, what I want to talk to you here is, you can see it is easy that people who joins this group can feel very unfair. They think it's very not really fair treated, because when I say 8%, and they say that's not possible, that's not working, and they are right. If they think so, then it's okay. But the point is, it is fair in the end, because if I say you get 8% and the other is also working here, let's go back to this one here. The programmer makes something, the artist makes something, the sound designer says the same thing, he makes also something. There are different sound designer. For example, the sound designer, there is music, there is voice acting, there is sound effects. So there are also subcategories. And this is different kind of works. And like I said, this percentage is more representing what work you have to be done in this project to get a percentage, right? And that was just for test purposes, and you can see that caused a problem. And that's why in the end I said, okay, I will skip this part here with the payment. I will just say no payment at all, because this one must be worked out more in detail for future. And so I ended up now with 2 persons. Like I said, the one who is 60 years old, he's agreeing to the form. Yes, I need experience. Yes, I need a portfolio. Yes, we work together. And the other person, the university student as well, he said, yes, I agree to this all kind of stuff. And we will see how this works. All right. And the last thing what I want to talk here is, before I wrap up, is how we develop all this kind of stuff. And we talked about different kind of apps. For example, I'm really not used that much app. For example, I never use Discord. That sounds a little bit strange, but yes, I never use Discord. Now I'm using Discord almost every day. Then we have here other programs we will use, trying out what is best for remotely using game development. For example, we have now GitHub as our source control and our sharing of code. For right now, we test GitHub. If this is good, if not, we will see. But we are a small group, and as long as we are so small, I think it's possible. Then we will use Discord. Then we will use also Trello for organization purposes. Perhaps there are even better programs, but they are too complicated. But Trello is to consider the simplest program. That's very good. And then there other apps which we are going to use as well. So you can see these apps are aimed for for remote work. And by the way, remote work is, so in my experience, what I found so far, not so efficient like local work. What I mean with local work is, if you have, for example, you are working with a friend, you share the ideas, you can work more efficient in a room or in a location. For example, if you are in school or university and you are working in a team, it's much more efficient because you come together, you have your time, then you work this through, you can directly communicate, you can directly share your thoughts, you can directly change or instantly change if there is going something wrong. Still, it's a little bit more efficient, but also a little bit more pressure when you work in local, which can cause also other problems later. But we are trying now this remote work, which is more organization. I have to learn here more organization, to share organization, and that will also work. But that's more or less the point where I am. And the thing, the most thing what I did right now was meeting with all the peoples. We planned meetings, we planned our task, what we are going to do. And right now I have around 50 days left because I have an end date that is around this end of this month. And so they know exactly we have around 2 weeks now or less. And till then we are trying to finish this one. So I think that was all what I mentioned so far for this video. And you can see it is, we are in the starting phase, not really starting phase, or actually we already finished the pre-phase actually, because we talked about many things, and we are going to the production slightly. That will be, we will go probably deep soon. We are still in the pre-phase, sorting some ideas, but they also they also do some production things already. We will see. And the thing is, one more thing perhaps before I wrap really up is, the people, I told them that they should see this also serious, because I know we are starters, we are learning, we are beginners and all this kind of stuff. We are not like this companies, big companies and all this thing so on, and we have not really made up all things. That's true, but the point is, I follow here guidelines, best practices from companies, and we just integrate them, which means we just test them if we can apply them in our workflow. If yes, we use them. If not, we use them not. But it will be all serious. So we are not making like a tryout, like in, let's say in Solo, when I programmed the Solo games. Then I just make sometimes fun projects or prototype projects. It's more the triad. Here we are working now in a team. And in a team means also we try to follow rules, and we update our knowledge, and we integrate this knowledge. So we because our goal is really here to become pro, even if it's our first tryout as a team development. And what I want to point out is just we take this serious, even we are just beginners. Doesn't matter. When we don't take this serious, we will not become pro. That's the goal line. And with that said, if you are interested perhaps to participate in, and I say it here directly, if there is no payment, there will be a contract, and you have to give the full ownership to this project. If you are interested, you can still participate in this project. We have 2 weeks time. That's enough for if you are applying within 1 week, because the last week I will probably never accept because their time is too short. Because then we go to full production, which means we have no time to talk, we have no time for meetings and something like that. But there is still possible people, if they want to join, probably 1 more we can go, or 2 more max. And then, yeah, that's it. If you are still perhaps you are interested in, just make a comment in the comment section. I will then invite you in Discord. Then we make a meeting if you're interested. And yeah, and your goal should be, I think, let's make this also clear, like the other ones. Perhaps you want to gain experience, perhaps you want to make a portfolio, and yeah, something like this. This should be your goal, so that you know also your own goals. And yeah, with that said, I stop here this video, and in my next video we will go there. I will not talk so much. There I will show you the steps which we are going to do, what I'm going to do with the other persons, and then I show their work and then what they created, and the real development now. Alright, with that said, see you in the next video. Bye, good luck, and like all time, have fun.